God bless you. You're welcome to another wonderful episode of our 30 days teaching on the prophetic ministry. And I believe you have been blessed so far. It's another wonderful day again to check the mind of God. 1 Kings 22 from verse 1 to 6. So the king of Israel, the king of Judah, and the king of Syria were to go on a battle. King of Judah, Jehoshaphat, had to speak to Ahab. Let us inquire of the Lord. So we saw something that happened there. They had to seek the ministry of the prophet. It means that the ministry of the prophet attends to kings. Now, something about the prophetic ministry is that you don't find the prophet on the open every time. It's not what we have on social media today. You don't find the prophet. The prophet is a person of honor. The ministry of the prophet entails that he's sitting instead and people come and meet him for instructions. It's not the assignment of the prophet to move from places to places, seeking validation from people, seeking honor from people. The prophet himself is a person of honor, and God places so much of honor on that ministry. It's just like you want to ask a few questions around your life, and then you need to speak to God. God puts certain systems in place so that you can reach him, and then he gives us the gift of the prophet. This is how delicate and significant the ministry of the prophet is, and this is why God does not joke with that ministry. You see, some people will call the prophetic ministry the mouth of God. The mouth of God is also the eyes of God. It is the aspect of the ministry of the part of God that sees. Is the aspect of the expressions of God that speaks. It is the aspect of the expression of God that understands and relates to people. They receive from God and relates to people in the best possible way the people would have understood. All right. So we see in this place that the kings could not go to battle except they would first need to seek the ministry of the prophet. Now, you don't become a prophet by title. You become a prophet because God ordains you as one. Ephesians chapter 4 verse 11, it says he gave gifts to men. He said he called some prophets, he called some apostles, he called some teachers, pastors, and evangelists. So the prophetic ministry or the gift of the prophet is an expression in God, and you don't just get into that ministry because you will to. We say in certain denominations today, people are prophets because they want to, because they admire the office, and then that's the reason why you have many manipulative things around the prophetic office, because they feel like you can be taught, you can be trained in the prophetic office if God has called you in that office. God is the one who ordains men. Man is not the one who ordains men. Whatever happens, in the realm of the spirit is first from God. What now happens in the physical is what God does through men by reason of impartations. Your first ordination is first from the spirit realm. The validation God now places on that man is that he now raises another man, to be a perfectioning of what has happened in the realm of the spirit. This is the responsibility of every believer, that when a prophet speaks to you, you also have a personal witnessing. It is the responsibility of the prophet to speak to you. It is also your responsibility to be captured in the atmosphere. So it means that when God is speaking to you, an atmosphere is created, not just for the prophet alone. The atmosphere is created for you to have a witnessing to what the prophet is saying. As we have many prophets littered around the world today, and they are not speaking accurately, but when you hear their words, it seems very accurate. Sometimes, why do these words come to pass? These words come to pass because something around the devil is that it takes advantage of every occasion. As long as you believe whatever witnessing the prophet is bringing, if the devil inspires him, and as long as you believe, it happens. Many of the things that happens today is not because God ordained that it was going to happen. There are certain things the prophet would not communicate because he knows that the devil can take advantage of that utterance. It's not everything God shows the prophet that he must say. I understand everybody wants to speak, and that is why people come so largely on prophets. Everybody is saying what they are saying. There is a rule in the prophetic that says, make sure whatever you are saying is what you say, but make sure you don't say what you don't see. It's not everything that you see that you say, but make sure that when you see a thing, or when you say a thing, make sure that you saw it correctly, because people would come for you. We are in a generation now that people need you to be clear on what you are communicating. They don't just want to hear, oh, God says. And I feel like this is a deception that has clouded the prophetic ministry. Everybody says God says. And because of the weight on that statement. So once you say God says, just assume that people would believe you automatically. So people are hard on the prophetic ministry because of lack of proper interpretation, because of lack of proper understanding of the prophet, of the receiver, of the vessel.